everyone. This is Todd coming at you and with another episode of Living Your Best Life. And I want to say thank you so much for hanging out with us for a few minutes. Okay, not a few seconds, but a few minutes this afternoon as we talk about just that particular topic, living your best life. Of course, what we do on our show, everyone, is we invite a professional on to talk about his or her profession and how their profession is contributing to living a better life and just their best life. And so today, I am excited to introduce this young man to the show. And because I tell you, every time I talk to him, I feel as though I had like a spiritual experience, and because he has so much wisdom. And like I said, every time I speak with him, I just feel as though I learned something about life. I learned something about myself. And like I said, I'm totally excited to have him on to the show today. And I just look forward to you getting in contact with him because he is a wealth of information and just spiritually mature and all this good stuff, that I can say about just a human being. And so I just want to introduce everybody to Mr. Wayne Moody, man, for being on the show today. Thank you so much, brother, for hanging out with us.
Hey, man, thanks so much, Todd. This is a privilege.
All right, awesome, man. So, today, Wayne, what I want to, the past shows, man, we've been talking about, health and wellness, of course. That's the main focus on the show here. But it's been pretty much talking about, the health of women. And so today, man, we want to talk about men. We want to talk. Let's have a man talk today, if you don't mind. But before we jump into that, man, I love to learn about who you are, man. Tell us a little bit about who you are, your journey, and your mission, because you have a big mission and you have a big vision in life.
So, my name is Wayne Albert Moody, Wayne A. Moody. And when folks ask me where I'm from, I normally say I am actually from heaven, but I was dropped off in a piece of heaven called Belize. You see the flag behind me there. So I'm from Belize, but this journey started as far as my spiritual journey, started at the age of 18. A very good friend of mine, he took me to a meeting, and the speaker was speaking on the topic, Up and Change Your World. And the message was simple as it is today. He said the world is in a dilemma and the world needs to change. Mm-hmm. He said, but the only way the world can change is if people change. And the only way people can change is if they're connected to God, if their lives are in God's hands. And he said, would you like to give your life to God and then become a world changer? So March next year is going to be 42 years. I started this journey as a world changer. And I realized that change begins with me. Mm-hmm. So humble beginnings. My dad, who is my champion, he is a man that I admire more than any other man. He actually left a legacy. Honestly, he didn't have much inheritance as far as property or stuff to leave, but what he has left is a legacy, and the legacy that he has left is my commitment to responsibility, to taking charge, and the other traits that he has actually left, which I'm now passing on to my siblings, and I also pass on that legacy to the people that I have to work with. So, but that is who I am. So, any more clarifications you need, you can shoot me at the right question.
Awesome. Well, man, and you spoke something, when you first told me that I'm from heaven, and I got dropped off in a beautiful piece of heaven like Belize. That caught my attention. When you first said that, I said, okay, I gotta make sure I stay in contact with this brother, because I've never heard that before. And it made so much sense to me, especially in my spiritual journey, that hey, why can't we are, before we were born, he knew us. And
that's what he said to Jeremiah.
Yeah, with that being said, yes, we did come from, heaven. And so, like I said, the first time, like I said, you mentioned that to me, I heard that, I was like, I definitely want to stay in contact with this brother, man. So, but staying on the topic, man, like I said, when it comes to men, and like you say, your father, played a huge part in your development, yes, in who you are today. I want to ask you a quick two questions. And, the first one is, what is man, or what is a man? And then what is masculinity? So let's touch on the first question. What is a man to you? And there are a lot of opinions, I'm pretty sure, out here, but I love to know, man, what is a man to you?
Well, I would like to take one of my mentors. He actually gave a definition of a man, and it's basic, honestly,
Okay.
because I don't know if you know who Miles Monroe is, but
Oh yeah.
he's
Oh
a
yeah.
gangster.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh
I
yeah.
remember Miles Monroe gave a definition. He said, "A woman is a man with a womb.
Mm,
She carries a child, so she has a womb. That's why she's a womb man.
yeah.
And a
Yeah.
man does not have a womb, so
Yeah.
I don't carry a child.
Yeah.
So a man is a being that does not really carry a child. A woman actually carries the child. So if you want to know who the man is and you want to know who the woman is, the woman carries the womb. The man does not carry the womb, but the man is the man.
Yes.
As far as being a man, there are different things that we can talk about as far as being a man, because culture varies reference
Yeah.
to what a man is.
Yeah.
I mean, we go to like cultures where the man actually goes hunting
Yeah.
and the woman stays at home and takes care of the stuff. But some cultures, it's the reverse.
Mm,
I mean, so
mm.
does it mean that the man is always the hunter?
Wow.
So
Wow.
it varies for the culture. Even today,
Yeah.
when we look at our culture, at one time, the woman would be the one that stays at home.
Yeah.
Remarkably now, you have men now that stay at home and the women go to work.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So if you define what a man is, maybe in the past it would say, well, the man is the breadwinner. He goes to work. He brings home the
Mm,
bacon. Today, maybe the woman is
yeah.
actually the one bringing home the bacon. So
Yeah. Yeah. So if things kind of get grayed out as, times move down the line, and also it varies, like you say, from culture to culture. And that's interesting. I never knew that where you had the woman, where you have a woman who is actually going out and making the kill. And so that's really interesting. But like you said, man, times change, and I don't know where it can go, because like I said, it can't get grayed out. It can get grayed out, I'm pretty sure, um, as time will move on. But another thing, and this is the second part of the question, because I think we get confused with this particular word, and in my opinion, and but I would love to know, in your opinion, in your thoughts, what is masculinity?
so before we go there, I want to go back to the man again.
Yeah.
When the scripture says God made man, the
Yes.
term is not male. He made mankind.
Mm.
So man is actually the woman and
And
man. So when
yeah.
God made man and he said, let us make man, he's talking about the being, human being.
Right.
So,
Right.
but in that there was a place where God then took woman, as far as I'm believing, out
Yeah.
of man.
Hmm.
So actually, woman came from man. So actually, believe it or not, woman was in man.
Yeah. 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 Once again, definitions begin to fall away.
So, but talking about masculinity, again, masculinity, I believe we talk about traits. These are like behaviors that are attached to, again, culture again.
Yeah.
Because masculine, our behaviors, I believe that we learn.
Yeah.
Because you can actually have a female actress play the role of a man.
Right.
And she
Right.
can she can give you that role and you wouldn't know that she's a woman.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And you can actually have the flip. You can have a
Yeah.
male in a role acts like a woman.
Right.
And as far as being feminine, he can actually play the part because you can learn to behave.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you talk
Yeah.
about masculinity, I think it somewhat is tied up to behaviors,
Hmm.
because think about having a kid growing up with a lot of female influences and tendencies. That young man can maybe start acting ways that are more feminine as far as expresses femininity. And then you might have the flip side of that. You might have a girl who grows up with a strong male influence, and then she's more like a tomboy.
Right.
So,
Right.
of course,
Right.
what is masculine? I think it's behaviors that we can adapt and learn, and it can change because someone could be very much because I think of myself. I'm a middle child, and I
Hmm.
had three sisters before I came, so I was the first boy. So I was given a lot of care and I was protected. And honestly, my three brothers that came after me, they're the ones that actually learned how to cut the grass. They're the ones that learned to do all the stuff that you would say are more towards, say, expressing male masculinity as far as
Mm.
hard work.
Yeah.
And again, depending on how you were brought up, how you were taught, you can actually have the behaviors that you have reference to learning the behavior. So what is masculinity? I mean, you think of like Latin cultures with machismo,
Yeah. Yeah.
where,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
I am the man, so I'm going to have a lot of women. I'm going to be drinking.
Yeah.
That's expressing my part of my masculinity. And so again, I think it's about behaviors that we learn, and it involves also mindset because
Hmm.
our thinking, I believe, is connected to how we feel, and how we feel is then connected to the actions that we do, which then gives us our results.
Yeah. Gotcha. And a friend of mine, she would always speak on the mature uh, and the healed male, and whether or not you can ever become healed in this world. I have no idea, but um, I see a lot of times, man, where we use this word masculinity, and it is a word that is seen as, like you said, we have, we were talking about, the machismo, the menu, the drinking, that kind of thing. And so these things, of course, yes, are taught. And, I was never that type of person. I was never that type of person to be like, out womanizing, drinking, all of those kinds of things. So, when I look at that type of, if society said that that was a masculine person, I fell short, because that was never my personality and character.
And sometimes, if you look at our society, I heard my bishop said once, he said, we protect our girls and then we
Mm-hmm.
teach them. Well, now this is changing, but I'm talking about the tradition. The women were trained to set the table for your brothers, take out their food, wash their clothes for them. So the girls were actually being prepared, and it's like it's a way of thinking where the girls are more protected, and then the boys, hey, if they're out there giving a lot of trouble and having a lot of girls and just being promiscuous, ooh, he's proud of his son. That's my boy. Look at my boy. Honestly, and
Yeah.
it shows what the mindset is, because to say you have a son, for example, today, who is saying, Dad, I want to keep myself for when I get married.
Right.
Ooh, eyebrows go up.
Yeah. And it's so funny that you said that, because that was somewhat kind of frowned upon when I was coming up. If you kept yourself, till marriage, you was like, are you okay? Yeah, and you're fine. And that is, to me, now that I'm where I am now, um, I would see that as a sign of a mature young male.
But
But
today, if I mean, as far as promiscuity, I mean, it's considered normal.
yeah, yeah,
It's
it's considered
considered
normal.
normal. But again, values change and beliefs change and systems change, but I think truth remains the same.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You kind of like, earlier this week, you spoke to me about, the woman being raised to be responsible, and the men are raised to be workers. And I thought that really kind of like, it was like, wow, that's really interesting. I never thought of it that way, but you're absolutely right. And I think
That's what
that's, yeah,
that's actually what happened. And when I say we're talking about us as a people, part of the
yeah,
diaspora, who have come from ancestors who were enslaved.
yeah.
And the women or female counterparts or ancestors, they took care of the children, they took care of their children and the master's children, and sometimes the master's children were their children as well.
Mm-hmm.
And or male counterparts or ancestors, they were sent into the fields to work. So they were given work
Mm,
while or female counterparts were given responsibility. They had to be responsible.
mm-hmm.
And for generations, they were being responsible. And for generations, or male counterparts were doing work. So, and again, a part of what has been a part of our inheritance as far as what we came from is the fact that we were not even seen as human beings.
Right, right,
We were
right.
bred like cattle. And
Yeah,
I don't even want to get into the whole idea of should we tell our whole story
right,
as far as the
exactly.
educational system is concerned, because I say the story has to be told.
Yeah, yeah. It has to be. You're
And
absolutely right.
part of the story is that what we actually have evolved to today.
Mm-hmm. And if what is that? What have we evolved to today?
Well, and this is what I say, and as a people, I'm referring to us as a
Yeah,
people that have
yeah,
been descendants of people who were enslaved.
yeah, yeah.
Only the best of our ancestors survived across the Great Divide,
Mm,
and of the best that end up being, whether you're in Central America, Latin America, or the Americas, only the best survive and the strongest survive.
mm-hmm,
Only the strongest were bred.
mm,
Only the strongest were kept. There were many children that were born. The story isn't told about them, but we can tell the story that there were a lot of kids that were born that were disabled, that was not going to give the masses anything. What did they do with them? Since they were not human beings, they were not considered as human beings. I mean, there are stories told that actually kids were used
yeah,
for
yeah.
bait,
Wow,
catching alligators.
wow, wow,
I mean,
wow.
I mean, the story has not been told as far as what we've been through. But I say I have a history, but I'm not my history. I have
Mm-hmm,
a story, but I'm not my story. But I need to be aware of where I'm coming from, because when I'm aware of where I'm coming from, I can set my sail to where I want to go.
mm,
But I say over the years, by default, what was being done, there was being a creation of a genetic progeny that is amazing.
mm-hmm,
When you and I
mm-hmm.
look in the mirror, we should say, "Oh my God, we survived." And like great Mother Maya Angelou said, "Yet I rise."
Right, right. Awesome, awesome. The misconceptions about what it means to be a man and the definition of masculinity, and that's, and I watch, you know, different, I watch some of the news channels, and you see us as men in general, doing these things that we've lost connection with ourselves. We've lost connection with the source. We've lost connection with, I feel, God. And so what is it when we feel as though, what is like a soft male? Like, okay, I'm going to be straight up and honest with you. You and I, we talked earlier this week, and we really connect, and we don't come at each other about, we're not knocking, heads or anything like that. We just receive one another. And you're the first, you're one of the people one of the men that I can say, hey, my brother, how are you doing? I love you. But you can't find that in so many conversations when it comes to men. And why is that? Is it just these things that we've been taught?
Well, I say again, where I'm at today is as a result of the choices I've made.
Mm-hmm.
Where we are is as a result of choices that have been made. So where we are today is in connection to the choices that have been made. Whether it was choices to snatch us up as a people from our place of origin, or the choice that was made to say have us enslaved, And all the choices that were made gives us the results that we have today. Now, as far as where we are and how we can actually experiencing the transformation that is needed, I really believe that change begins when my thinking changes.
Mm.
And my thinking, I said this earlier, and I would like to share the acronym here.
Yes.
TEAR. T is for the thoughts, right? What we think. E is the emotions that we feel, because our thinking is connected to how we feel. And our emotions is connected to the actions, how we then act. And then the R is the results that we have. So TEAR, the thoughts, the emotions, the actions, the results. So you're saying, okay, this is where we are right now. This is the result that we have right now. How do we change it?
Mm-hmm.
Got to go to the thoughts. Or
Mm.
thinking has to change, because when my thinking changes, then I'm going to feel different. And then with my feelings being different, I'm going to be acting different. And then my results are going to be different, because if I don't think of myself as being worthy, I will feel like I'm not worthy. And then I will act in accordance to not feeling worthy. And then the
Mm-hmm.
results I'm going to have is that, hey, I'm not
Yeah.
seeing myself valued.
Yeah.
So talking about who we are as men, one of the things that I believe as far as mankind, remember,
Yeah.
mankind refers to mankind in a whole.
Mm-hmm.
We have missed the mark, because first and foremost, we were supposed to manage this thing called the earth.
Right.
So from the get-go, we were supposed to be the ones that, I mean, the earth, and we've not done a good job with that.
True.
Look at what we've
True.
done as far as pollution, as far as
Yeah.
destroying, as far as the earth that was given for us. The earth now is actually under subjection to our being mismanagers.
Mm-hmm.
When
Mm-hmm.
it comes to who we are, as far as the order of things, we, I don't believe, are created to have dominion over each other.
Mm.
Because the reality is, I see you for who you are, and you see me for who I am. And there's a term that the Eastern folks refer to as Namaste.
Yeah.
Namaste is the divine in me sees and celebrates the divine in you. And that is what it is, because you and I, other than the body that we're living in, are spiritual beings. And there is the spiritual being that I am is a part of who God is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Therefore, I can't hurt you and harm you if I really see you for who you really are. I say every single person is a gift. And
Mm.
we're a gift not to ourselves, but we're a gift to the world. And
Wow.
I therefore must first acknowledge that I'm a gift. And then I acknowledge that you're a gift. So I'm not in competition with you. If someone says, do the world a favor, just be yourself. Because
Mm-hmm.
if God wanted you to be somebody else, he would have made you somebody else. So I don't want to be Todd. And I say, Todd, please don't want to be me. That's
Yeah.
my job, my full-time job, being myself.
Yeah.
And truly being my authentic self, which for us to really be our authentic selves, we have to love ourselves. We have to
Wow.
believe in ourselves. And I say, God believed in us so much. He has placed giftings and talents and ideas in us. And if God believed in you and God believed in me, I got to believe in me.
Mm. Mm.
And I believe in you.
Well, and I believe in you, brother. I truly do. And that's just, you said something, we're not in competition with each other. And I think that's something that a lot of men struggle with. We feel as though we have to be in
And it's a
competition.
mindset. It's a mindset again.
Yeah.
And because of the mindset, then it's easy to go to the place of me wanting to not celebrate your success, or want to
Right.
tear you down, or want to show you up. I step in a room and I say, I celebrate every single man in the room,
Wow. Wow.
because they're gifts. And I
Yeah.
step in as a gift too. And I realize that,
Yeah.
hey, I come as a gift. And as a part of my practice, I say I'm a person of increase.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means for me is that, for example, we're meeting today, and for every time we've met, it has been my intention that by the time we finish meeting, I have contributed to you being better. And in so doing, I have actually become better. So by the time I finish every encounter, whether it's just a hi to someone or a nodding of a head or a good morning, I'm adding value to the person, because I'm a person of increase. And if I'm
Mm-hmm.
adding increase, I'm increased as well.
Something that small as a smile, something that small as a hi.
I mean, there have been people to know and testify that someone smiled and said good morning, and they touched someone who was getting ready to go commit suicide.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Just
because
the thought
somebody cared
about,
enough to say hello.
yeah. And, and I appreciate you, man, because, you're saying something in the morning, you know, good morning, and I'm like, wow. And so, and that's just, it's just not, that's not common, because most people are caught up into their own world.
But
And
the thing is, like I said, Todd, we know where we are.
yeah.
Now the question, can we envision going where we would love to be?
Hmm. Wow.
So it's a good thing to know where I'm at, but for me to actually go where I want to be, I got to see myself there first.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And when you say that, is where is that where you want to be?
Well, one of the fundamental principles I teach as a dream builder life coach, and that's what I do, I'm a life coach,
Mm-hmm.
is one of the fundamental principles is everything is first a thought before it becomes a thing. And my longing and my discontent is going to create what I really, really desire. The
Mm-hmm.
things that I'm really not too satisfied with and the things that I'm longing for is going to help me to create what is it that I would desire.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because nobody likes myself, and God knows what I really, really desire.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody like God or myself knows what I'm not really, really, really contented with. Now, sometimes we're being bombarded by the media. We're told by
Yeah.
others, this is what you should do for you to feel good. This is what you should like. But what is it that I really, really desire?
Yeah.
And for me, again, going back to one of my mentors, Miles Monroe, he said, if you want to know the purpose of a thing, you go to the maker of the thing.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
If you have a Lamborghini, if you have a Mercedes, you take it where? To Mercedes.
Yeah.
You go back to the maker, because in the
Yeah.
mind of the maker is the purpose.
Right. Right.
In the mind of the maker is what it is was created for.
Gotcha.
When we refuse to use something for what it was created for, we say we misuse or we abuse it.
Mm.
So if
Mm.
I'm abusing myself, why was I here? And like I said, we're sent to be a reflection of our maker.
Mm-hmm.
We are in the image and likeness of our maker. And
Yes.
that means that I have creative capacities. That means that I can actually create. So what is it that I desire? I can
Mm-hmm.
tell you what my dream is,
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
desire.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear?
Well, of course.
So I'm a dream builder life coach. I'm certified and I work with politicians, with entrepreneurs, people who are retired. If you have a dream, I would love to coach you. That's what I do.
Gotcha.
I coach individuals, right?
Mm-hmm.
But my dream, which scares me, is
Yeah.
coaching the nation of Belize.
Wow. Gotcha.
And
Gotcha.
someone said, if your dream does not scare you, it's not a big enough dream.
Of course. Of course. Of
So
course.
when I think about it, I'm like, oh my God, only you could do this. But you know what? I think it was Denzel Washington. I heard he said, the desire or the itch we have to do these things is like God tapping you on the shoulder and said, come on, Wayne, I've been waiting for you to do this thing a long time
Yeah.
ago. Just
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
And what I'm
Yeah.
learning more and more, Todd, is that the how is not my responsibility because I'm co-creating with the
Mm-hmm.
creator.
Mm. Interesting. Wow. I don't hear that often either. I think there's a missing part of the puzzle in our spiritual process that um, we feel as though we're not a part of the creation of our creative process of our lives. And I came across this idea and notion, and really, light bulb moment that no, I really have a lot of creative control over my life, but it is a co-creation. It's God and I working together. And
I mean,
He's providing.
or talents. Where did we get
Yes.
our talents from? Where did we get our I mean, the very breath that I breathe, that breath is God given.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the life that we actually are experiencing, whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Christian, whether you claim to be an atheist, there is only one life, one
Yeah.
giver of life, and one
Yeah.
person, one being that is actually breathing life through us, and that is God. You
Yeah.
might say you don't believe in God, but that does not change the fact. If you're in control of life, then you manipulate it where you don't die.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's only one giver of life, and everyone that is alive and breathing today is connected to the source, which is God, which gives life.
Whether you believe it or not.
Whether you believe it or not. So your
Yeah.
believing does not negate the
Yeah.
reality that there's only one life giver.
There's no way around it.
No way around. And if you feel like you're beyond that, then stay alive forever.
Yeah, try that one. You're absolutely right. Stay alive forever. See how that wins out.
And the thing is, our very bodies are created to want to live.
Yeah. Yeah.
Think about it. You get a cut. What happens? The red blood cells rush there to make sure that it clots so that you don't bleed to death.
Yeah.
We take substance in our bodies that are not the best for our bodies. What does our bodies do? The organs start doing what it does to get rid of the stuff that is not going to be good for us.
Perfection.
The body is made in a way to just want to preserve itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
if we're doing stuff that is not good for ourselves.
Yeah.
That's why you're going to work your liver out if you're just excessively drinking or if you're eating all of the stuff that does not make you healthy, your organs start malfunctioning.
Yeah.
Because you give your body more work than what it was actually originally designed for.
Yeah. Wow. That is really some intense stuff.
So as far as men are concerned, again, in our makeup, as far as our physicality, there's definitely a distinction as far as our makeup.
Yeah.
I mean, muscles or I mean, the fact that we grow hair on our faces. So the physical features, there's a division between who we are. But then when it comes to our being, and this is where I say there is no male or female spirit.
Right. Speak.
And that's who we are in essence. I'm a spiritual being.
Yeah. A spiritual being, not a male being, a human being, a female being, a spiritual being.
I'm a spiritual being. And if you're a male, yes, because I say connected to, like I said earlier, the woman has a womb. And she has the womb. She carries a child.
Yeah.
Do you have a womb?
Last time I checked, I didn't.
so if I meet someone and they have a womb, so you're a woman.
Yeah. I said last time I checked, I didn't have a womb. So,
but who we are, we got to go back to the maker.
Yeah. Always.
And a part of what I believe is important is to truly be living on purpose.
That is the golden word right there. Purpose.
And I say, you're talking about living our best life.
Yeah.
I believe our best life is the life that we were actually commissioned to live.
Right.
Again, I'm talking Miles Monroe because Miles Monroe has somewhat influenced me a bit. And one of the things that Miles Monroe has said, he said, live full. I think it's Les Brown might have said this, live full, but die
empty.
And again, Miles Monroe said one of the richest places is not the oil wells in Saudi Arabia, nor the diamond mines in Africa, but the cemetery. Because there lies a lot of people who had books and creations and things that they should have done, and they never did it. They took it to the grave.
Yeah, took it to the grave.
That's Brown says you don't want to be on your deathbed and all these things that you should have done, crying out to you and saying, I came to you and you did not do it.
Didn't show up.
It didn't show up. So I want to make sure that when I leave, I have done everything that I believe I should have done. And I hear, well done.
Yes, die empty. So right quick, what if there's a way to live in an abundant life, and I think abundance can really, it doesn't mean just one thing. It doesn't mean just money. What, in your opinion, your thoughts, what is the path to abundant living?
So my favorite scripture is John 10:10. He says, I've come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly, right? But let me ask you a question. Which grocery store is nearest to your house where you live?
Good old Walmart.
Okay, so the closer you are to Walmart, the closer you'll be able to access what's at Walmart.
Yes.
As far as who God is the source of all things, abundance. Now,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I was talking to a friend a few weeks ago, and he said, man, I feel so close to God. And what I said to him, I said, you know what? That's just a perception that you have, because God hasn't really gone anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
God cannot be no closer than he is today to me, and he's not going to be more closer than he is tomorrow. So
Yeah.
when it comes to abundance, it's the awareness,
Mm.
because we live in an abundant universe.
Yes, we
There is
do.
enough food today that nobody should go hungry,
Yes.
but
Yes.
people are going hungry.
Yes.
There is enough resources that people should actually get the help care that they need, but yet it's not happening.
Yeah.
So as far as abundance is concerned, I believe I am connected to the source. And therefore, because I'm connected to the source, the more aware that I'm connected to the source, the more then I'm going to be living with the mindset that I'm enough.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I believe, the scripture says, consider the lilies of the field and the birds of the air. They don't toil nor spin, and yet our Heavenly Father provides for them.
Mm-hmm.
Will not your Heavenly Father provide for you? So what I need for today, I have.
Wow.
If I
Wow.
don't really think I have it, it's my perception, but I do have everything I need for today. But not just for today, I have everything I need for life, because I have been given everything that I need to live this life.
Right.
It's my awareness. So
Right.
when it comes to abundant life, it's about knowing and really embracing it and believing it. And the thing is the mindset again, because I would talk to prospective clients that I'm going to work with. And when we start talking about, okay, would you love to work with me? One of the questions that would come up at the point when we talk about having someone work with me, and they would say, how much does it cost?
Mm-hmm.
I love to say, it's not how much does it cost, but how much you need to invest.
Mm.
And as far as how much you need to invest, honestly, if something is for me and it's really for me, it's not too expensive,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
I'm valuable more than whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when it
Yeah.
comes to resource, it's again the mindset. Because everything, I really believe wherever God guides, he provides. Wherever God gives vision, he provides provision. Therefore, lack is not going to be my portion.
Wow. Wow.
But
Wow.
again, it's what you think, because if you think you don't have, you're
You
going to
won't.
act like you don't have.
Yeah.
And honestly, the situation and circumstances are real, but I don't live by what I see in the situation and circumstance, because I live a life which is by faith, which is not just a blind faith, but I believe that the universe is abundant.
Mm.
There's no lack.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody should be starving today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody should be, I mean, but these things are happening. But why is it happening? It's because of the mindset. Because, for example, some people feel like they should just hoard up all this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I want to be a channel. I say I'm connected to the source, and my life is going to be a conduit through all of that source can come.
Right. Wow. Wow. And it's the knowingness, it's the awareness of it that really matters. Because like you said, if you don't know it, if you're not aware of it, then yeah, you will see life as, you will see the lack, and you will always think, not enough. And when you are in the mindset of not enoughness, then this is how life tends to kind of play out. You will rob, you will steal, you will take, you will, do all of these erratic, things that can harm others and even yourself.
Because
Uh,
what I believe determines how I behave.
yes, exactly.
What I believe is going to show in the way I'm actually acting and how I'm talking. I believe my name is Wayne Moody because that's what I was told.
Yeah,
I believe I was born on January 1st, 1962, but do I have proof of it?
yeah,
I believe what was said to me.
yeah, yeah,
So, and we believe a lot of stuff we believe because we were just told what it is. But a part of what we need to do reference to what we believe is going back and truly look at what I believe.
mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm,
believe I should just be taking this care of myself and not be concerned about other people. But that might be what I was taught.
mm-hmm.
Do I
Yeah,
believe that I should be a source of light and life?
Yeah.
So what am
I'm
I
and,
doing?
and I'm always hoping that, we can move towards that um selfless type of behavior where, we're not just on an island by ourselves, that we have to look out for each other. And, over the past, few years, man, I've really come into really living that type of a life where, or just being in that kind of a mindset where this isn't about me. This is about others. This is about Wayne. This is about the ones that are behind me. How can I make this world, a better place
And,
without
and,
sounding
and
cliche?
it starts with me. It starts with
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah,
And, although we look at the big picture, we might go to a place of feeling overwhelmed or
yeah.
feeling like I can't make a difference. But the thing is, like I said earlier, I have to be able to think it and see it in order to actually even see it.
Right, right.
Because if I don't see it as being possible, I think it was Henry Ford said that if you think you can, you're right.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if you think you can't, you're right as well.
You're
So if
right.
I
Yeah,
don't think I can make a difference in the world, I won't.
yeah. You won't.
But if I think I can make a difference, I will.
There you go.
And
There you go.
my world literally starts with me right where I am at. And I tell you, my first line of coaching and motivation and mentorship, my nieces, my nephews, my brothers, my sisters, my world, they're the first sphere of influence.
Hmm,
But I do
hmm.
believe that like a rock or a pebble, you throw it on the water and the
Boom.
influence could go as far as you'd want it to go. And the greater the impact, then the greater the, and I do believe that there is no limit to what I can do because
Gotcha.
I really believe that God is able to do more than I can ask or think. And one of
Awesome.
the mental
Awesome.
faculties that we have, which is our imagination, is one of the faculties that we can tap into because if I can see it, it is possible. And I see
Wow.
myself, I see myself in my country. I see
Hmm.
myself doing this work, not just with an individual, but I see myself doing it with the nation.
Mm, mm, mm.
Now, does it scare me? That's one of the things that I could say fear pops up.
Yeah.
But fear is just an imaginary line that is telling you, I've not been there before.
Yeah.
When I was introduced to Zoom initially, early COVID, I was like, whoa. Because at 59, I'm not into the technology like the kids. I mean, I gave my great nephew my phone and he's gonna do everything with it and show me what to do.
Yeah.
But when I had to step into using Zoom, the technophobia rose and I was afraid. But I did my first few Zoom meetings scared. But then after I learned to, hey, I can come into a Zoom meeting. I use Zoom for my business. I do my clients' work in Zoom.
Yeah. Yeah.
But fear pops up. The athlete, the singer, the performer, the person that is doing something will tell you, fear pops up.
Hmm.
And successful people, this is another quotation again, successful people have to be comfortable, be willing to be uncomfortable in order to grow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's the only way you're going to grow when you're feeling uncomfortable. You step outside your comfort zone because you can remain in your comfort zone and stay right there.
Yeah.
But you can step outside your comfort zone and grow and expand.
Do you know what you fear? Because I'm sitting here struggling, and I'm trying to ask myself, what do I fear?
Well, like I
And I'm not
said,
sure.
the expansiveness of the dream
Hmm.
scares me.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
But I realized that somebody said that there are 365 times in the word where it says fear not.
Yeah.
But it says fear not, for I'm with you. So fear is going to be there,
Yeah.
whatever it is. I mean, you have a very important meeting to take care of, and
Yeah.
there's a form of fear that might pop up. I
Hmm,
mean,
hmm.
and fear could either paralyze you or fear can actually activate you because you can
Yeah.
stand at the corner of the street and there comes a truck out of control and fear causes you to be frozen.
Hmm.
But fear can also cause you to get out of the way.
Yeah.
I don't want to get hit.
Fight or flight, one or the other.
so and again, fear is always going to be a companion.
Yeah. Yeah. What is love to you?
Um, Being patient with myself,
Hmm,
being kind to myself,
hmm.
And when records of stuff that I've done in the past comes up, being willing to say, hey, I let it go.
Mm.
And I gotta love me first. Because I gotta love me, because I can't love you if I don't love me. And I say, please love yourself first, because you can't love me if you're not loving you. And a part of loving you is being patient with yourself, being kind to yourself, and not when past comes up that has been done, because the past is the past. I can't edit, I can't erase, I can't. And if I have a past that I've not dealt with, I need to deal with it.
Yeah.
But having dealt with the past, I can let it go. And there are people today who know me for who they knew I was, but they didn't know who I am today.
Wow. Wow.
And who I am yesterday is not who I am today, because my intention is that today I'm working at being a better me than I was yesterday. And tomorrow I'll be working at being a better me than I am today. So who you knew me was earlier this week is not who you're meeting right now today.
And same here, you
I've
know,
grown.
and I hope that's the case. I don't want to meet Wayne. I don't want to meet Wayne from last week. I want to meet Wayne, you know, in his present. And I want to
Today.
definitely, you know, meet Wayne on Monday or tomorrow in a new person, because that's growth
That's why, like Michael Jackson says, it's the man in the mirror I'm working on
all the time.
all the time. And you know, if it's just one thing that I do that makes me better today, I'm getting better today. And every day it's getting better and better and better and better. But it's work.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's the challenge for most people. Growth is work. Growth takes, you know, life takes action. You know, you either going to be, you know, the action on the couch, or you're going to be in the action, you know, growing. And when you talk about growing, it's going to take a different kind of energy than, you know, just the one that's on the couch. And that's a challenge, you know, for most people, because you have to move out of those comfort zones, and that's not easy. That's where fear comes in.
And you got to decide. And you know, there's the Greek word, the origin of the Greek word decide means to cut away from, to cut. And when I decide, I cut. Just like you got married, and what did you have to do? Cut certain ties with certain people.
Yeah.
You got to cut away from the things that are not in what you have today. And it's the same thing. The vision that you have for your life, there are some people, some situations, some circumstances, some mindsets that will not be in alignment to where you want to go.
Right.
So you got to decide.
You got to decide.
And decision is one of the greatest faculties we have, because when we decide, that's when change starts. We make a decision. We make a choice. If I say, I don't like this body that I have right now, I got to do something about it. And sometimes it takes going to the doctor for us to take action. You go to the doctor, and the doctor says to you, man, if you don't change your diet, you have like 3 months to live.
Right. Wow. So Wayne, what's in the future, man, for your business? And I know that you are looking to do some powerful things in your country, Belize, and but definitely share with us.
Well, if I would share my vision statement, which is where I see myself in 3 years from today, I say I'm so happy and grateful that I'm actually living in Belize. I'm actually traveling the world. I'm actually coaching the nation of Belize. I'm seeing entrepreneurs raised up and trained. I'm seeing people who are coming out of prison. There are resources for them as far as reentry. I see programs for women who are being battered. And I see all these things being created because it's a part of the dream that I have for my nation. And I see myself traveling the world as a motivational speaker. And I'm truly a multimillionaire that has money as a philanthropist to be giving half of what I'm worth, and it's not about it for me.
Wow. I love that. Most people
That's
can't
the
just
dream. And it's not wishful thinking, because wishful thinking is if you have a genie and you rub the bottle and it pops up.
Yeah.
But as a dream builder, you do what you can with what you have today, being in the present, but envisioning where you really want to go. Wow. Because the dream is actually the magnet pulling you there. You know, Michelangelo, when he was creating the David, when he was finished, they said, how did you get David from that piece of marble? And he said what he was doing, he was chipping away everything that was not David.
Everybody, listen, this is why like I said, I'm going to maintain my relationship with this gentleman here because of the wisdom that it's just so naturally comes out of his heart and mind. Wayne, where can we all find you, man? Where are you out there on the internet, in the world, all that good
Well,
stuff?
I am on LinkedIn. You can find me, Wayne Moody, on LinkedIn. I'm actually on Instagram, and it's my Instagram handle is Waynaz, Waynaz,
Mhm.
supermodel. And you can also find me on my webpage. And I think I gave you the link you can put up on
Yes,
the.
yes,
Hey, I am here to serve, and I'm here to truly live my best life, which I'm living.
yes.
If I were to die today, I would be doing exactly what I want to do right now, talking to you.
Wow, wow, wow.
And I say I live each day as if it's my last day, but I'm planning as though I'm going to be here forever.
There we go. There we go. And what a great way to end it, man. This conversation today. There's so many things that I want to continue, our conversation about as we get to know one another, even on a deeper level, man. And so I definitely hope you can come back and share
I'm
some
here to
more.
serve you, and I'm here to serve. And again, if your audience wants to reach out to me, they can just reach out to me and say, "Hey, I saw you with," and I can know where the connection is. And
Yeah,
if I can make a contribution in any way, shape, or form, it would be more than a pleasure for me.
the world needs you, brother, and we got you.
Yes, I was sent an assignment, and as long as I'm breathing,
There we
I'm going to
go.
be fulfilling that assignment.
Well, like I said, man, thank you so much for hanging out with us, man. I truly, truly appreciate you for, like I said, your knowledge and how can I put it, your journey, you
It's a
know.
journey.
Yeah, I
It's a journey.
appreciate your journey because you're not just popping up with this. This is your journey that's led you to this wisdom. And one of my goals, I would say, the rest of 2021 here is to grow my hair into that curly, awesome thing you got, man. Because I tell you, man, I'm trying, brother.
Well, it comes with the genetics, right? Because remember, I mentioned to you that my dad is my champion.
Yes. Yeah. Oh,
That's me and my dad. When
okay,
my dad,
gotcha.
and I'm the image of my father,
Yeah.
and I see my dad every day, and he continues to impact my life even in his absence.
Awesome, man. Awesome, awesome. Well, like I said, that's my little short goal for 2021. One of them anyway.
Hey, thanks
So
again for
pray
having
for
me.
me. Hey, Wayne, thank you so much, man, once again. And everyone, thank you. I enjoy this brother. I can listen to him, all day. And listen, get in contact with him because this is why we have this show, Living Your Best Life. We're not just bringing these people on here just to, even though I love having these conversations, but we can do this offline or just over the phone or whatever, and just have this conversation between he and I. But this is for you guys. This is for everyone else.
Can I say something in
Yeah,
maybe
man, sure thing.
if there's a group that would like me to come in and do a motivational session reference to a vision workshop motivating people,
Yes.
I mean, reach out to me. I can in Zoom provide for a group of 1, 5, 10, whatever. It'll be more
Awesome.
than happy to do some more laser focus work.
Good, good, good. So like I said, everybody, this is why I'm bringing these people to the forefront here into this show, so you can have access to them, so that you know that these people are out there, because a lot of people just aren't aware that these people are out there in the trenches working on an everyday basis to change the world and help people live their better lives, their best lives. So listen, everybody, thank you so much. And listen, next time we're gonna catch you, and we're going to bring another guest on to the show and just further teach us how to live our best lives. So everyone, thank you once again, and we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.